So I'm like, look, lady, if you know what, maybe it's your turtle's fault. All right, maybe he shouldn't be crawling up my ass. How about that? Maybe you should keep your turtle out of my ass, and we wouldn't have this problem. So you know what, I have no problem leaving this funeral home, but I just want you to know that your turtle is not the saint that you think he is. So yeah, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to get your turtle out of my ass, and I will take off your dress too. So it's anyway. Oh hi, we're back on. All right, so welcome to another episode of Killing Crickets. I'm John Caparulo,
and I'm Brian Shinanigan. Hi.
And we're here at Wise Guys in Las Vegas. We're gonna do some comedy and talk about it. So stay with us.
Yep. So stick around. We're right back with more Killing Crickets.
Fucking turtle.
Oh, Wise Guys, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yes. Oh, yeah. I like to. Oh, thank you. That was enthusiastic, bro. I like to think I look like Jason Momoa. I don't. Turns out I look like Charles Manson. Nice. Yeah. A little bit about myself. I am a yoga instructor. Okay, not yoga fans. Moving on. Telling you I'm a yoga instructor is not a fancy way of telling you I'm gay. It is one of like 3 professions where you have to specify that you're a heterosexual man doing it. The other ones are flight attendant, hairstylist. The only other one is priest. Yeah. I've been trying to get more of my comedian friends into doing yoga. We're not the healthiest bunch of people. I got my buddy Adam to take my class last week, and he said, there are so many beautiful single women in your yoga class. Do you just hook up with all of them? No, I don't hook up with the single ones. Let's just say the position I'm best at teaching is downward spiraling marriage. I'm not proud of that, man. I'm not proud of it. But upward facing penis has a mind of its own. Yeah, yoga's an interesting job. A woman asked me last week if I could see her camel toe through her yoga pants. I could. She had a really big vagina. She asked the question, then she didn't change her yoga pants or anything. It's like she just wanted to know if I could see it. I could. She had a really big vagina. It was like she was hiding a gordita in her yoga pants. And I'll remind you, I teach hot yoga. It was a cheesy gordita. Yeah, I apologize for that one. Yeah. No, I really like dating Latino women. I love it. I don't know if they're about to shank me or we're about to make love. The mystery is insane. But I actually do not speak any Spanish. So the last girl I was with taught me a little something so we could have a sexy back and forth in the bedroom. She told me, soy una teterita pequeña y fuerte. I finally looked it up, and it means I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I don't think she's saying good things about my sexual prowess. Thanks, guys. I'm Fitzy.
All right, Fitzy, welcome to Killing Crickets. Thanks for being with us. And I agree. You look like Manson on some creatine right now. It really does. It's you're just gotta strengthen your core, man. That's cool, man. So and you're a yoga instructor?
I am a yoga instructor.
Man.
Yeah, for 8 years.
Okay. Now, what came first, comedy or yoga?
Comedy. Well, no, I'm sorry, yoga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Comedy's about 5 years now.
So was that developed from your experience as a yoga instructor? That's part of it?
Absolutely. It definitely made me better with public speaking.
And Fitzy was also, you were a UFC fighter, right?
Yeah, I used to fight MMA professionally.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I'm a little intimidated, but that's fine.
Yeah, don't let him take off his shirt cap and be like, fuck this guy.
I can tell I lost the swimsuit competition. All right, sounds good. That's good. So, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Arkansas.
Arkansas, okay.
Yeah.
That's,
Nobody has to follow up.
A
for
hotbed
that.
of education is what it is. So you started comedy in Vegas then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's now. We were just talking about this a minute ago with Gabe, and it is kind of an interesting, I guess, dichotomy where it's like, okay, I mean, Gabe's a pretty frail, skinny guy. I'm I was skinny when I started comedy. I filled out after a while, but it's like, your perspective as a comic who is, I guess, in shape,
sure,
and who's not, most of us, I think at least better than half of us as comics we're slobs. Okay, so here we are. So
that's still being polite.
Coming from that perspective, do you think it makes it harder or easier for you to win over a crowd?
It makes it different. I have to be self-deprecating right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So like I love a good, like looking like Charles Manson joke.
Right. Yeah.
So something like that kind of makes people ready to be like, oh, he's just silly.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, because I remember that was one of the things that I found out early on in comedy was like, my friends who maybe like when we started comedy who were like good-looking guys who got chicks and stuff like that. It's like, it was harder for them to overcome that with a crowd because, especially when you have couples there and everything like that, there's a part of like a dude doesn't want to laugh at a dude that he thinks might steal his girl, whereas they don't worry about me. You go ahead and entertain us and it's just fine because I'm not, there's no intimidation there as far as that goes. But with you, as far as a guy who's, like I said, in shape, you've been an MMA fighter. I mean, because generally that's not you're usually the guy who, coming from that background, you're usually the guy who dunks our heads in toilets, basically. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's not really the case. So I finished with a 7-12 record in MMA.
Okay.
So I got my ass kicked a lot. Yes,
but
that's
the 7
funny.
means you had wins.
There's the 7 though. It wasn't 0 and 12.
You know what?
We could fight together and still have
silver
a 0.
linings, man.
There's 7 professional fighters out there that got their ass kicked by a stand-up comedian, and I love that part.
Represent.
You got to look at it that way.
But it also, I've always thought this, like with a guy with that kind of background, it's got to give you a lot more confidence though up there dealing with like a heckler too. Because there's part of me it's like, man, I don't want this, like, because a lot of times the fucking door guy or the security people, they're not paying attention, and it's like, I'm on my own until he fucking gets around to getting up to the stage. So it's like there's part of you that's like, man, if I go at it too much with this guy who's talking shit, I could take an L. And, whereas, I think, coming from your perspective, it's like, it's a lot, you got to be a lot more confident to just go,
like, please come over here. Yes. I'd love for you to come up here.
When I was dealing with the nerves of just starting to do it,
yeah,
I would just kind of like, nobody's going to kick my ass. Like, the worst thing that could happen is nobody laughs. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I can deal with that.
Man. Now, is it, okay, so you talk about, like, your first time, okay, you remember your first time on stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where was that, by the way?
It was at Noreen's.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's in Vegas
5 years ago.
It's a dive bar over on Trop.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But it's a staple of the Vegas comedy community.
All right.
We've all done our time at
I never recommend going any place that's not a comedy club for your first time. Maybe it's because of my own experience. My first times were all at clubs. So, because it's so much a better environment for stand-up. Because you go to a bar or a cafe or someplace like that where they got a comedy night, it could just really, really fuck up your confidence and your whole like outlook on comedy. You're like, man, is this how it's gonna be? This sucks. So, obviously you're still here, so good.
Yeah.
But was
not ideal.
what was scarier, your first fight, like your first professional fight, or your first time on stage as a stand-up?
First professional fight, and I think the comedy was easier because like I literally spent that time like, wait, there's not a like I'm not about to get
there's
beat
no
up.
real there's no constant. I won't hurt after this.
Yeah, so
emotionally,
yes. Your feelings.
Yes.
Get hurt.
And I kind of always just framed it what I felt with comedy as excitement. Like I was excited to get up. instead of like scared or nervous or whatever it may be. And it was just
that's interesting, especially this early on. You know what I mean? Like, because it took me, but I'd say it took me probably at least not 10 years, but somewhere around there to get to the point where that anxiety over like being scared to go on stage, like, oh man, I'm gonna suck, and all that spilled over into just sort of like a caged animal, you know, where you're just like, I just want to get up there, you know. So, but that's just interesting to me because I mean, obviously, you know, going into a fight situation, you have to worry about how you're going to leave that. So when did the you said you were 7 and 12 or something?
7 and 12, yeah.
How old were you for your last fight?
31. So it's been 8 years.
You
now.
Basically saw that through then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like you just you cut it off early. You were like you basically you wrung it out.
You know what? I would train with some of the best guys in the world, and I was like, oh, I'm really competitive with these guys. And then for whatever reason, when I would step into the ring, like it would be maybe a few steps back. Where I'd be like, I would take fights on short notice. It just never like came together for me. But there was always like enough to keep you going.
So you're okay as a competitive guy. Does that come into mind at all with comedy?
I've never thought of it. What I love about comedy is I'm rooting for every comic on stage, and that's
you're the only one.
Really?
Kidding, no, man,
I think that's across the board, man. Like I want one of those nights where every comic goes up there and just crushes, and the room goes wild. And
I think that in stand up, I mean, my experiences, especially like I was in LA for a long time and everything. It's like, I mean, I don't think anybody ever or anybody I knew wished anybody any negative.
Sure.
But I think we're all especially when you go into a showcase situation or an open mic situation. Sure. I mean that's and for me, I've always said that's always been my outlet for my competitiveness because I didn't have a body to do that. So I was like I was always really competitive. Like I was a huge Michael Jordan fan and things like that. But I didn't have an outlet for it. I mean, other than maybe video games, but it was like I couldn't, so when I got into stand-up, it was like the first place where it was like, oh, wow, I have the skill set to compete. So it was like, I'd go up in a lineup of comics and it'd be like, man, I want to try to stand out from this crowd. Yeah. And so that's what I'm wondering is like somebody who actually was in a competitive sport like that, who actually had an outlet and was able to, because you can't just be physically able to do that and compete. You have to have a competitiveness to you in order to survive. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's fascinating to me because I think most of the guys that I've talked to that come from a background like yours, they usually don't have. They've competed in real things, I guess, so that they don't have to think of it that way. But I've always been like, art became an outlet for a competitiveness, and it's like, it's not so much like you're looking for somebody else to lose. It's just you just want to all right, I can play. I don't get picked last at this, so it's interesting to me.
So MMA was a struggle, and I had to work really, really hard. Like I was outworking people in the gym.
Yeah.
But this was the first thing that I ever came to, and it was like it was a natural fit.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, like this, I realized early on, like, oh, this is the thing you're supposed to do. Like you're not a cage fighter. You were a comedian trying to cage fight.
Right. Right.
And that's what felt.
And technically, like in sports, I mean, in something like fighting, I mean, there can only be one heavyweight champion.
Absolutely.
Whereas in comedy, technically, you can have as many champions as you want because I mean you can really just if everybody does well. It's a different thing. But I like I said, it just it's interesting to me because usually guys that come from a background like that come into art as like, oh, okay, I don't have to. It's not so cutthroat, But in a way, it is to a degree that people are just everybody's just trying to get noticed. So it's like competitiveness does play a factor. But it just in a different way. I don't know what I'm saying. But
that makes perfect sense.
It made sense.
There's something in there, and what I'm saying that makes sense. But I'm not saying it right now. That's fine. But so anyway, what am I
What am I missing?
It was a great set.
It was very good.
Great set.
Thank you so much.
I've seen you before too, so it's always good, man.
Thank you.
Anyway, the website stuff, anything. Thank you for being on with us.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
And we'll definitely have you on again. So follow Fitzy at the link
absolutely.
below, and we'll be right back with more Killing Cricket. Stay tuned.
Fuck yeah! All right. Hi. Thanks for your applause. I appreciate it. That's why I came for. I think I can go now. Fuck. What was that? Fitzy was like, I don't do yoga. I know it's a big fucking shock to everybody, but it's like, but John, you seem so limber. No, I'm actually that sounds just fucking awful to me. Especially hot yoga, fuck that shit, dude. I mean, I already don't like working out, but smelling everybody else's ass while I do that, I'm not fucking doing it. Like I went back. I'm from Ohio originally. Thanks. Woo! It's like, oh shit, I'm all alone. Ohio. It's a great place to leave. It really is. No, I went back. I did stand up in it's a suburb of Cleveland, Cuyahoga Falls. I was there over the weekend, and it's actually one of the first place I ever did stand up. And I was at the airport, getting ready to fly back. And you ever have one of those moments where you'll see somebody that you haven't seen in fucking years? You know, like they run over and they're a lot more excited to see you than you are. It's like Cap. I'm like, Dan. But I mean, it's like, it wasn't so much, it wasn't his fault. It was just the fact that, he caught me at the wrong fucking time, man. Because it was like, I am not ready to see this dude again because I just farted. And and it wasn't nothing mild either. I'm like, I'm sitting over here by myself for a reason, all right? Like, he runs over toward me, I'm like, fucking retreat, man. You don't want to come over here. It smells like the river right now. Some people have swamp ass, but I add in some body parts and a fucking oil slick to mine. So eat caramel for breakfast is someday, kids. But he just runs over and he's like, hey, what's up? He's just there talking to me for minutes, and I'm like, you can't smell that? Really? Are you really just ignoring that, or is he? Because I really hated the idea that I hadn't seen it. It's been over 20 years since I saw that motherfucker. Comes over, and I'm like, he's like, hey, how's it been? I'm like, I've just been hanging out in this cloud of shit for about 20 years. Other than that, I'm cool. How's your family? But it's a fucking awkward moment, man.
Some of you motherfuckers know already. Okay, let's get this shit out of the way. I'm the asshole that made your drinks tonight. All right, yeah, you're welcome, fuckers. Don't clap for that. Fuck you guys. Don't clap for that. That's pitiful. All right. I'm married. Anybody else got that problem? Yeah? No, we're at that point in our lives where we won't even talk about divorce, man. We won't even bring that shit up. Not because we actually like each other. It's because neither one wants to see the other one out living their best life at this point. Yeah, fuck that, all right? I'm clinging on to that bitch till death now, you know what I mean? Look at this fucking hair. Look at me, motherfuckers. You think I can get laid anymore? No, there's no app that's gonna get me anything, all right? I'm not even getting on Grindr. These dudes know what I'm talking about. Seriously, man, I used to have a beautiful Jew fro and shit. You know what's up, bro? Like, I'm half Jewish and, like, I'm a mixed race kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm half Jewish and half alcoholic, technically, but, like, I'm mixed raced, all right? So I had this beautiful Jew fro. I used to get, oh, man, girls, brown, black, white. It was good, man. It was good. And now I look like Jewish werewolf. Yeah, I bet you never saw that shit on Twilight. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers. All right, okay. Let's see how you guys are gonna do me. Oh, man. Well, how you guys doing? You good? You guys together, married? Just fucking? Okay, that's cool. All right. You guys, just fucking? Cool. Look, ain't no marrying no more. Like, what's the point? Like, fuck, man. Seriously, my wife and I have been together 23 years. Like, that's fucking insanity. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck would want to spend that much? That's like a life term in prison. You know what I mean? Like, you motherfuckers don't know nobody doing that much time, okay? You might, bro. I ain't trying to say anything, but you might. All right. We sticking together. Don't get excited. Oh man, let's see. I'm gonna ask some real shit. Like I'm getting old. Like I'm at the point where I realize I'm getting old, not just because of this motherfuckers, but like I realize I'm getting old because the other day I had that I was like, yo, I used to be a gangster. You know what I'm saying? I used to steal cassette tapes from Kmart. Ain't no more motherfucking cassette tapes, and there ain't no motherfucking more Kmart, motherfuckers. All right, that's how old I am. Like talking about Woolsworth and shit at this point. You know what I mean? This dude knows what I'm talking about. He's old as fuck, too. All right, here's the thing, man. I have a show. You guys can follow me, captainscomedy.com. I have a show here called Roasted with TC. It's the #1 comedy show in Las Vegas. Please come back. We'll be here on 9/11. Yeah, on 9/11, motherfuckers. You heard me say it, all right? So, ain't like you was going to do shit else that day. Don't lie. Okay, come see me. Thank you, guys. Love you, wise guys.
TC Morgan, everybody.
TC,
Yo, what's up?
Joining us.
Hey, Cap, thanks for having me, fucker.
Sorry to wake you. Good set as always tonight. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. I want to get this out of the way first because you work here at the club.
Yeah, I'm the house Jew here at the Wise Guys.
I didn't know that was your official title.
I
suspected, but
every club's got one.
But it is interesting to me that you embrace that from the start. Like when you get out on stage, you basically announce that, like, hey, I'm you're the bartender, right? So,
bartender, cook. I do everything that, you know what I mean, whenever they need me. I'm
right. So, but I mean, the fact that you own that is so, I guess, I don't know, it's different from how I was when I was a doorman at the Comedy Store, because I basically was trying to hide it, even though everybody saw me check their fucking IDs on the way in. But it was like, I would always make sure I brought another shirt with me so I didn't have to go up in my uniform on stage, and it was a lot of it was just insecure. There's probably the age difference, maybe, like where, because like I was such such a punk ass kid at the time, and I was so worried about, if they think I'm a doorman, like it was gonna matter. I don't even know what my, but it's funny to me though that like you own it, and do you think that breaks the ice for you? Or is that,
I do. I really do.
Because nobody would know, really, like they did with me. Because, I mean, obviously I had a fucking shirt that said Comedy Store, and they saw me check their IDs, but you came from the back. So.
Yeah, but I also started at the door, which is kind of why I think I embrace it mostly, because I've done a couple shows where I did the shirt switch, and I played the angle out.
Yeah.
And then one day I just decided that's too much fucking work, and I don't really care about these people that much anyway, so I'm just going to go with it.
That's the best attitude
to
have.
So, and I've gotten, I have gotten some laughs off of the fact that I'm back there making their mojitos or whatever, and I'm, I play off the kind of that I'm pissed off about it and kind of angle, and it does get a little ribbing to them, and generally when I get back I have about 8 more mojitos on the order already, so I think people get that it's a joke and stuff, but yeah, I kind of went with it. I don't know what else to do, I guess. There was that moment.
How long have you done stand-up now?
We were trying to add this up. So I'm an actor as well as a comedian. I've done acting a little bit longer. I think comedy, we just broke 6 years.
Okay.
So it's about 6.5, somewhere in that ballpark right now. So,
how old were you when you started comedy?
Jesus Christ, I'm in my 40s now. I'm 46. So yeah, so 40. I was about 41, 40, 42, somewhere in like that.
Okay.
So,
and what did you do before that? What was your like line of work going into that?
I used to be a professional fighter. I owned a big MMA gym out in Northern California, and used to coach and own the gym for about 20 years. I was the coach and a bunch of guys in the UFC and stuff like that and stuff. So so I used to, and then
so you trained fighters. I mean, you yourself are a fighter.
3-time world champion, Muay Thai, 3 different weights.
Muay Thai, really?
Yeah.
Fucking did this shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah!
Don't fuck with TC.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean,
skinny Jew. bro.
That speed you will knee you in your face.
Admittedly, my Muay Thai exposure has been at Bloodsport and kickboxing, right?
That's the best part.
I don't want
Is Van Damme related?
I was actually very into martial arts as a teenager. I was in Taekwondo though, so it's that's interesting. Where did you learn Muay Thai?
Oh, I actually got lucky and just kind of fell in. I was up in Portland, Oregon, and there was some stuff on TV. They had just like a basic, what do you call it, a basic cable when it's
public
free,
access.
public access.
Yeah.
And the guy had put the fights up on there, and at the end of it, there's this phone number that comes up.
Yeah.
And I was trained in doing kung fu, and I had boxed. I'm from Stockton, so I've been boxing since I was about 8, and being a white kid from Stockton.
Wait, you have to do that in
You
Stockton,
have
I
to, yeah.
guess?
We don't play baseball there, Cap. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. So.
See, to me, like I heard you say that on stage before about Stockton, and it's like it doesn't sound like a place that it's like, you know, maybe because of the basketball player, maybe because of John Stockton, you just think it's pretty white bread. People got short shorts.
That's beautiful. I wish it was.
So it's no joke, huh? It's a rough place to come up in. Okay.
Yeah, my mom moved us to Oakland thinking that would be better, and then eventually moved us back to Stockton. So
you're escaping to Oakland.
Yeah,
to fucking, this place is too violent. We gotta go to Oakland.
Say, you kind of catch on fast.
But you know, coming up as but Muay Thai, like you were actually like.
Yes, sir.
Like the actual, like, you know, like the shins and the
yes, sir.
really?
Yeah.
And that was wow. That's, I mean, you got to be a tough motherfucker to do that.
I thank you. I appreciate you saying something.
I mean, really, too. That's impressive.
It was fun. I had been doing kind of like kung fu and was training and doing that stuff. And like I said, we decided to hell with it. Let's go give it a shot. And I got there, and the guy kind of asked, it was a goofy question. The guy said, "Do you fight with pants on, or do you fight with shorts on?" And Taekwondo, the American kickboxing, they'll wear pants. So I was like, I don't wear pants when I fight. I wear shorts, So that was it. The guy was like, okay,
I fight naked.
Yeah, that's. I tried.
They went to intimidate.
They didn't want to go for that, bro. So I went with the shorts, and that put me in the Muay Thai division, and that was it. I luckily enough had enough experience in it that I was like, okay.
Talking about the show though that you do, you host a roast battle, right?
Yeah, I do roasted with TC here.
And how long have you done that?
We've just over a year now. Literally over a year. We have the anniversary.
That's an interesting because that sort of genre has really taken off over the past. Like I've never participated in a single roast battle. It's become sort of a regular thing in the comedy world, but it's like I guess it's like. I guess I came along in that stage before that took off, so I didn't really need to, I guess, engage in any of it because it wasn't around when I was coming up. But
this is our connection. You being at the store, that's where I broke. I went to the store. Jeff Ross and those guys, Brian and those guys asked me to come out and do the roast. I did that. I had such an amazing time. It was fun. I had done the roast up in Northern California. I won like the first ever tag team championship thing that they had up there one time, and so I'd had some experience.
Tag team comedy?
Tag team comedy roast. Trust me, sounds exactly
fucking convoluted.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's so. I had a little experience going in, but when I got my feet at the store, it was such a inspiring moment that I really worked my ass off to become better at that. And then Jeff Ross kind of gave me the nudge and was like, "Hey, get something going. Set yourself up out there in Vegas. Get a show. And so I was like, "Okay, I'm going for it." And we started.
That's a good endorsement in that arena.
It wasn't bad.
Guy's a fucking Shaolin master.
It was
roast, man. That's cool, man.
And I will say, unfortunately for me, I have seen TC do a naked roast, so I've seen more of TC.
I won
to get involved.
Yes.
I won. I just want to make that clear. I won the naked roast.
He did win. He beat a man with one ball. That's all I'm saying.
Man, if I'd have sort of like, hey, this guy won. I gotta go. It might have sounded funny for a minute, but I've seen way too many sets of balls that aren't mine, and I gotta go.
It was.
Now, I mean, as far as the roast battle, though, do you think that's has that sharpened your writing skills?
Yeah, it's the thing that roast, and I tell a lot of the younger up and coming comics I want to be on the show, is the roast is a way of writing new jokes. You've got to write new jokes for the individual that you're roasting, and if we do this every month and you decide you want to be a part of it, that's new jokes constantly. At least 3 new jokes that you got to work on, which most of us know you got to write 40 new jokes to make 3 of them worth of crap. So I tell them, and then the irony of it is, it does transition into being sharp like that. Helps you with the crowd work. You know you're a sharp guy, Cap. You know you can go up there and just work a crowd and just have some fun with some people. And that, I think, a lot of
I'll cry. I mean,
You go either way.
I mean, so for me, that was I think that's a lot of it. It comes back to my crowd work and just kind of being and keeping your tools sharp.
It does. I mean, it does really have to be. It's something that you will always carry with you, like being able to, because it does matter. Like writing is important. You do have to have stuff that is polished and ready to go when especially when you're talking about putting together specials and things like that. But the ability to just be funny, and that can be in any arena. It doesn't just even have to be at a comedy club. I mean, that was part of what I really was. Like once I started getting into like where you have to go do, whether it's radio promotions or when I was on Chelsea Lately or things like that, where it's just you're in a situation where it's just not just you on stage with a mic, the standard stand-up setup. It's just being able to go, all right, I'm in this situation, be funny, kind of like the Bruce Lee thing, where it's just like be like water.
Yeah,
it really does apply in a lot of arenas like that, where it's just like, look, I gotta be able to adapt to the situation and still come out basically making people laugh.
100% to your point. I spent this last weekend in Seattle refereeing a new wrestling league.
Okay.
And I was the referee for this whole, it was called Fantasy Fight League. It was like cosplay and old WWF guys and gals. And, when they're 60, it's something to see.
Costumes too?
Oh, one person was Hillary, one was Monica. Yeah, it was wild.
What booking will you say no to?
Yeah, that was a moment when I was literally there and I thought, I haven't done anything like this in a long time, and I felt like a new comedian again.
Yeah.
I was bunked up with another fella in the same room in a hotel, and like we went through the struggles together, and it made it more fun, and we laughed. But I mean, it was wild. It was, and I went there and I put on a show. I did the best I could with what I had, and apparently it went good. People seemed to enjoy themselves, and it was one of them, outside of the normal arena of what we work in. I thought, being funny is being funny. You're either funny or you're not.
You got a very. I've always thought this. I mean, because I've seen you here and everything, and for well over a year. But I mean, you have a positive energy about you, man, and I really do think that that'll carry you a long way in this. I mean, and it's not positive. I guess the sharp edge that you have coming from the streets
from
of Stockton,
Stocktown, yeah,
where it's not like the Utah Jazz people, but it's but no, where you have an edge about you, but you do have a very positive energy and just sort of like a positive attitude to go do some stupid shit like you just talked about. It's that's awesome, man, and I of course I wish you all the best, and I think you just got a bright future in this game, man, and thanks for being on with us.
Yep, thanks for coming with us, guys.
We'll definitely do it again.
Anytime, I'm always here for you.
So check out Roasted with TC. It's every first Monday of the month here at Wise Guys.
Man.
Follow him at the
Come
links
on the
below.
nights where they have clothes, though.
Yes. Stay away
Usually
from the nude
clothes.
ones. But and we'll be right back with more Killing Cricket. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get depressed sometimes though, thinking like, pretty soon, like my daughter, she's 8 now, she's gonna start outgrowing a lot of the shit that we do together, and I'm not, which sucks. Like, still, one of my favorite things in the world to do with my daughter is like if my wife has to go like run errands or something, it's just me and my kid watching cartoons and coloring. Fucking love that shit. Because I was probably gonna do it anyway, but it's always nice to have a child there, I guess, to validate my coloring. But it's like, don't you have a plane to catch? You shut up. But I mean, even like the cartoons we watch, like pretty soon she's gonna start outgrowing that shit too. Because I mean, we past few years we've had like a solid, like I guess like 3 cartoon rotation. We either watch Muppet Babies, The Smurfs, or South Park. I couldn't talk her out of that shit. I was like, oh, you like South Park? Fuck yeah. You want to get high? She'll pick shit up from South Park, though. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I'm probably going to have to explain that to somebody. Right? Like we were playing Uno, the card game. We were playing Uno in the kitchen one day, and I was deal. She always goes first. She puts on the first card one game. She's like, game on, Jew boy. I'm like, let's just cut that shit off right here in the kitchen, because nobody else going to think that's as adorable as I do. Trust me, it's... I'm actually kind of paranoid that fucking Alexa heard that shit. I don't know who she's passing information to, but it's probably not good for us. But yeah, you know, like, but there definitely is a double standard both ways though, like with parents, because I just came from my daughter has she started gymnastics class a couple months ago, and me and my wife always go on Wednesday, and then I come here afterward, and I went to gymnastics class, and I got in. I mean, gymnastics, it's a fucking sweat box though. And like I said, I ain't built for that shit, because I walk in there and I'm just sweating to death. I'm like, they have these big fans everywhere. Like, so I went over to stand by a fan, and I realized, like, it's so much easier for my wife, because my wife can hang out by herself in a place like that. No problem, you know. Me standing there by myself, fucking grown man sweating. A bunch of kids fucking doing gymnastics. I'm like trying to make it trying to get my daughter to wave back at me like, just verify that I'm supposed to be here, please. All right, I don't want to see me fucking lurking over here like, hey kids. It's fucking creepy. Some dude actually came, some guy who worked there actually came up to me, as you know, he's like, hi. I guess I haven't met you. Is one of your children taking classes here? I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, he didn't see me there with my hand in my pants. Like, what the fuck? I'm just fucking standing here. I'm fat. I'm fucking sweaty. I gotta stand by the fan. I'm like, and you don't smell that? Really? Because, I mean, I'm sitting here in a cloud of shit, and you're acting like it's not there. I mean, just get out of my fart. I gotta fucking go. Thanks, guys. You guys are
All right. Welcome back to Killing Crickets. So I did a set tonight, and it was, I mean, it's one of those things that was in my head. Of course, it's always better in your head, but I mean, I guess for me, it was like the reason why I wouldn't want to use that set for anything else is just because the callback kind of fizzled. Mm-hmm. You know, because I didn't set it up well enough, I guess, and you know, I mean, altogether, I guess from start to finish, the set was passable. You know, I don't think
the people liked it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, nobody threw anything.
No,
but
nobody's like, get the fuck out of here.
It was one of those things that it just didn't tie together at the end the way I wanted it to, and it was like, I know why. It's because I didn't set that up. Like, it wasn't. The setup wasn't strong enough to remember it, so then when I came back to it at the end with the you know, the fart thing and do you smell it? It was too soft and vague.
Yeah, it was almost a little like tacked on, and we were like, wait, what? Oh yeah, because
it
he
was
said
just
that.
like, oh yeah,
because he said that at the beginning.
Anyway, what else, sir? And it's like, no, that's
it.
That's the closer. Shit. So enjoy the pyrotechnics, but yeah, it was. It just kind of fizzled at the end. So you know, I guess it's time to retire.
But no, it was a good workout set because you're trying to find a couple of new bits in there. You know, like I like that first bit. The haven't seen the guy in 20 years bit, like that. Because it's underlyingly that's a fart bit, and I love it. It was a good fart bit.
Right. Anytime you have shit in the air, you know, it's gonna be funny. But I
felt like you really like visualized that one. I was like a pig pen like cloud around you of stink. Like I was like, oh my god, I'm there. I'm there right now.
Because I mean, especially when you haven't seen somebody in a long time, it's like I don't know why in my head they're gonna think like, oh, you've been living in this cloud of shit for the past how many years.
This is just how you smell now.
This is what you've been doing with yourself, John. Fucking yeah. It's like just got my stink. I'm fucking Pepe Le Pew over here, but so it just. I don't know. I don't know if I'll try to do that set again. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. But, you know.
Because you weaved anew, then you went a little in the classics, and then you went back to the new again.
Yeah, stuff like with, you know, with my wife and daughter. Some of it, I think some of it is even stuff I haven't used on caplets before. Because there's some of that stuff that's like almost like a staple of my longer headlining set that it's like, yeah, I sometimes forget it's like, oh yeah, that's not even something I've even used in this format. But it was... For the most part, it was okay, but
when I felt like you started down the like my wife and daughter thing a minute, and then you were like, you kind of hit like we're like where do I want to go with this? And then like, you know what? Let me just pivot back to these other jokes.
It wasn't that actually because it was more or less like I knew I was gonna do that stuff in the middle. Mm-hmm. Just the only thing was like once I started into it, I realized like in order to cover everything that I normally cover, in order to make it sort of fit together as a bit, I have to do the whole thing. So I have to do like all this stuff about like with chili tits and all that shit.
Yeah.
That's gonna go in there because it sort of makes the whole thing fit together.
Yeah.
And I wasn't necessarily planning on doing that until I got up there and realized, it has to be here. So, but it wasn't really like a situation where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go here because I don't know what else to do. No, that was the plan.
Yeah.
That was how I had it mapped out.
You just wanted to bookend it with the other stuff.
I guess for me it was like, had the callback at the end done better, I think I would have altogether felt better about the set.
Yeah.
It really just came down to the callback. I didn't set it up well enough. It didn't go well enough. And I mean, there really was no excuse with that crowd because that crowd this was fucking romper room. It was pretty easy.
They were on board.
There was no reason for that not to work, and it still didn't. So it was like, it's on me. It just is. And it's one of those things like, as an artist, you just gotta accept it. Like sometimes you just you gotta do a better job at your job,
but that's why we're here week in, week out, doing these workouts, throwing up the weights.
I'm here to succeed, Brian.
I mean, I had to say I was just trying new tags in an older bit myself, and like some did good, some did bad, but it was still just like, I was like, all right, well, I got the workout in I wanted to get in, like sometimes you just got to work and try to find it. Like, and because I kind of expected you to do some of the gym stuff again, and I was excited to kind of see where you went with it from where you went with the last set we did had some gym stuff in it, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always, I always loved just being able to work with stuff and to work out, and that's part of the reason why we're doing what we're going to do with the Kimmel Show. Is like I love the idea of just being able to mix it up, and I love doing short sets with callbacks and things like that. It's always fun because I think it really does challenge you creatively as a comic, and so that you don't get into sort of a creative rut. So I like when I like when it goes better than today.
Yeah,
that's all. I mean,
but I guess especially with new format, like I said, I think it's gonna be great because it does give you more chance to riff and stuff. And a lot of times the audience, like, they can tell when you're having fun on stage too. And it's like when you're riffing, you're trying new stuff, even if it doesn't work, it still can be entertaining.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, because if there's a positive vibe of it, okay, so it didn't work. All right, we're like, all right, well, nobody died. Okay, we're all good. We're fine.
I'll see you guys in a few minutes. We'll talk about something else.
Yeah, and that's what makes the whole experience fun, and it makes it. Yeah, it really does. As a comic, I think you always need to have that. Like, because you have a tendency to get. I know I did for a while too. It was like you get to a point where it's like, okay, I work the road, I headline, I do it. Then you don't come back and work out and do that stuff as much, and it really does. It takes away that sort of that
edge,
and that enthusiasm that goes with your early first 10 years of comedy, where you were going up, doing short sets, talking to other comics and stuff like that, and you have to have that creative energy always. You have to have that to go back to all the time. You always have to have that because it's not. If you get away too far from it, it's gonna show. It really is. And
I'm still excited to do a new bit on stage.
Yeah.
Even if I know it's like, all right, this ain't 100%. This is, it could go either way. It may not. They might be on board, but I'm like, I'm excited to do that new thing.
And that's what I mean about when you get,
I don't think there's a veteran comic.
A couple decades in, and you have to be able to. I mean, because it's inevitable that we all kind of get lazy after a while, and it's like you can't, because it really does matter to still sort of stay in the mix and continue to do what got you here, and that's.
But I've talked to a lot of veteran comics. I don't know one veteran comic that doesn't have like bits they hate.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's like they're like, man, I know this works every goddamn time, but I am so sick of saying this joke.
Just as soon as you start into it, it's like, what the fuck.
Me. I mean, dude, that was the amazing thing about Dice is like, I don't know how Dice he does those nursery rhymes to this fucking day.
He'll do it when he's on the road.
Yeah,
you know,
but I feel like he's like at this point he's like I don't fucking.
And that's what it's so funny because I mean when he would come to the Comedy Store and just work out versus like because the only time I ever actually worked with him on the road we went and did a benefit show in El Paso and he actually broke out the leather jacket and the cigarette and the sunglasses and slicked his hair back and everything but. I was used to seeing him, at the store when he would just pop in, and it was funny. Like one of my really funny comic from New York named Mike Ricca said to me, he said Dice is dressed like a lesbian because he would come in fucking sweatshirt and like jammy pants and fucking, and he'd always have workout gloves on because he's a germaphobe. And which still doesn't make sense because your fingers. Because the fingers. Whatever, Dice, man. Do whatever you got to do, man.
Let the man march.
I got nothing but love for him, but but it was just it's funny to watch a guy like that though, because he had so much more fun in that where he just came in was just working out, just fucking around instead of getting sort of having to. I guess be a caricature of himself.
Yeah,
and
to be the guy that everybody expected to see, the guy that they saw in the stadium.
But a lot of guys, where you just look at somebody in his position who's been to the mountaintop of comedy. Same thing with like guys like Chris Rock, Chappelle, like Eddie Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys would still come back and work out at the Comedy Store. Like when I was a doorman. And beyond that, and it's like those are the guys who kept sharp and were still like you could tell they were real. Comedy was in their blood, and it really mattered to them to still prove to themselves they could still do create and still write and still be what got them to that position. And that's what I've always wanted to be myself as somebody who just I don't want to lose. The thing that I had to begin with to start this. So, and not that I've ever gotten to where those guys have gotten anyway. I haven't done a lot of stadiums, but but still, just to be this far into your stand-up career and still, want to work at it the same way you did when you were younger.
Yeah, want to still go because I mean, there's. Right, wrong, and different. There's guys out there that've been doing the same act for 10 years. And
10, shit.
20, and just riding it, out in the cruise ships, out in the county fair circuit,
right.
Doing all that kind of stuff. And they're making a living. I can't fault them for it. But on the flip side...
I mean, but that's... It is sort of like it breeds, not laziness, it breeds...
Complacency.
There you go. Thank you for the English word that I was looking for. But it does breed complacency when success does bring that. Once you get to a point where you're able to sort of support yourself and your family with your comedy, you don't have as much reason to go do comedy for free.
Yeah,
that's what these shows are. You're just going to work out. You're just doing it because you love it, not because you have to be there or somebody's paying you. It's just because you're doing it because you still want to work at this craft, and that you still always have to be willing and be excited to do that. And I'm glad that I still am at this point. So I still.
That's huge.
Tonight makes me want to cut my wrists. That fucking callback sucked. God damn it!
I know.
I'm just gonna go back and redo the callback and then tag that onto the end. I'm gonna wear a different shirt too, just to make it look like just that I'm a complete shameless hack. That's fine. But so but altogether it was worth the trip again. So.
Well, there's another week cap, and like I said, we'll be back next week. So stick around. We'll be right back for more Killing Crickets.
Thanks, guys. So I got pissed, man. I punched him right in the face. I did. I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. All right. I called the tetherball before you did, and fine. So what that you're 7?
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, it's just that I gotta exercise my dominance and show who I am, or I'm gonna flunk out of 3rd grade again. And I don't want to. Hey, it's me, John Caparulo. Thank you for watching another episode of Killing Crickets. What was this episode?
13.
We did 13. This is 13.
Lucky fucking 13. Look at that. We had some laughs. I don't. Do you feel good about it? I mean, have you?
No,
you know,
it was good. It was good.
I mean, I'm sorry about your mom's turtle. I really am. I didn't want to. This is going too far, isn't it?
Look, you were right about that turtle. All right,
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
All I'm saying.
I'm glad I brought
I'm
it
going
to
to validate
light finally.
your turtle.
Because there's too many fucking turtle menaces out here that are causing problems in people's butts.
Yeah.
When would that happen?
They all can't be mutant ninjas. That's what we're trying to tell you guys.
Anyway, so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys again.
Yep.
And on episode 14 probably.
Yeah,
that's how numbers go.
Subscribe, tell your friends, please follow us at all the socials below, and we'll see you next week for another Killing Crickets.
Yep. Peace. Let me tell you about the hamster.